Good morning, fellow Malaysians. This is Matthias Chang, once again from Future Fast Forward. In today's address, I'm sharing with you a meditative insight which I obtained sometime last week. I was not sure whether the insight that I received during my meditation was correct. But over the weekend, that message became stronger. Now, it doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. The insight that I received is actually based on concrete facts on the ground. And I've tested my message by asking the people on the ground whether my insight is correct or not. And I even talked to some political leaders about my insight. Not to my surprise, they were blurred. They were in awe that I could think of such and receive such an insight of such proportions, astounding proportions, earth-shaking proportions. What am I talking about? Now, all this while, since the collapse of Pakatan Harapan, I've been saying, Pakatan Harapan is finished. Anwar Ibrahim is finished. Tun Mahathir is finished. They are not even a political carcass to be buried. They are finished. However, in politics, those who are finished will never give up. They still try to grasp at straws, right? After the last breath before they die. And so, in order to be relevant and put yourself in their mindset, please appreciate, they will try to say things and control the narrative to divert you. And what is the narrative? Pakatan Harapan will come in power. Tun will be rejuvenated to be the 9th Prime Minister 3 times. Okay? Now, this kind of propaganda, which in English language, Queen's English, but I don't talk Queen's English to you, I talk, right, brass tacks. But for your information, this kind of propaganda is called episodic thinking. Episodic. E-P-I-S-O-D-I-C. Episodic thinking. Meaning, alright, to create in your mind, by repetition, right? Paint a picture to look in your memory what could be the future, thereby to boost your confidence and create confusion. In the fog of war, what we need is clarity. Pakatan Harapan is scared of clarity. They want confusion. And to control the narrative, they're giving you a false impression that they still exist. But they're caught in their own lies. Because they're still fighting about power. Between who? Anwar and Tun Mahathir. You see? It's gone to such extent. This hideousness, this sinister propaganda is, right? Tun Mahathir, I told you before. Either his way or no way. So, he rejected in clear terms, Anwar cannot be the future Prime Minister. Not until he, Tun Mahathir, be the Prime Minister. Alright? And he manipulated, he cajoled DP Amana to support his vision. And then when that failed, when Anwar says, rubbish, no way. Again, to reaffirm his stance, my way or no way, I decide who is the Prime Minister in the future. Tun Mahathir, taking the ass of Anwar, my belakang, say, Shafiq Abdal will be the Prime Minister. Now, everybody was excited. But again, in that desperation and episodic thinking mythology, Tun Mahathir has contradicted himself. Why? He said, I will be the Prime Minister for Pakatan Harapan. Yet if he exerts that he must be the Prime Minister, how can he then now say, I want Shafiq Abdal of Barisan Sabah to be the Prime Minister? And everybody excited, you know. In short, my dear fellow Malaysians, he's saying, hey Anwar, F you. You don't want me to be Prime Minister? I'll tickle your ass. Okay? I will now say Shafiq Abdal will be the Prime Minister. And guess what? It was said in the presence of DP and Amanah. Can you see now? The chameleon, right? In order to feed his lust and greed for power, my belakang, right? Destroy Pakatan Harapan. That's what I'm saying. They're useless. Scumbags, manipulators, chameleons, and try to convey that the present government led by Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin is insecure. And there are some assholes, some political leaders who think that way. Ayo, oh my God, so much problem. The problem is not with PN. The problem has always been with PH. And for now 2 years, they cock it up big time. So, this is the background. Bear that in mind, this is the background. So now I declare to you, what is my insight and why I'm so confident, because it's been tested in the ground. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin will lead victory for PN in the next general election, no matter when, and win back 2/3 majority. Now I can assure you that even within Perikatan Nasional, none of them can dare even visualize that. Isn't that incredible? But I'm not saying to Tan Sri Muhyiddin and senior ministers, Allah will make it your destiny to win 2/3 majority, because you have brought stability and security, right, and economic stability to our country. Therefore, your bonus, the price of your integrity, sacrifice, will be a 2/3 majority to ensure you will lead the country in the future in total security and stability. Additionally, I'm sharing with you, right, that PN, under the leadership of Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, will reclaim back Penang from DP. I can assure you, right, none of you, armchair critic, or even anyone within PN, have contemplated this scenario. And I stand to be corrected. But for my insight, I would have been given this message. So I repeat again. Today, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin is very secure, very stable, and cannot be shaken, regardless of the propaganda, the opposite thinking, weaved and conceived by Tun Mahathir and whoever is behind him. They have no imagination. They are grasping at straws. Since 2008 till now, what has DB done for the people of Penang and the surrounding areas? But what have you? Zilk. And I've been saying for almost 2 years or more, even though Pakatan Harapan won the last election, because Allah gave them a chance to resolve the problem created by the former Prime Minister Najib Razak via one MDB fiasco. God gave them a chance. Rightly so. But they squandered it, wasted it, and showed contempt to Allah. Even to Mahathir, squandered the opportunity. Bear that in mind. And I won't mention name, recently, I talked to some leaders. You must work your ass out. Because God has given you this opportunity. Get back Penang from the scoundrels and scumbags of DAP. You forget, don't you? That Penang was under the control first by Alliance and then DAP. For 51 years of excellence. The first Chief Minister of Penang was Wong Pao Ni from MC Alliance. And then, after 1969, when Barisan Nasional was formed and Gerakan was part of Barisan Nasional, Chong Yu, on the ticket of BN, became the Chief Minister, the longest serving. So for 51 years, Wong Pao Ni and Lim Chong Yu, for and on behalf of Alliance in BN, right, stirred the country to excellence for Penang, as well as rest of the world, rest of the country. Then DAP lied, all right, to propaganda, and they secured Penang. What did they do? Can anybody tell me truthfully how has DAP transformed Penang? Nothing. Nothing. I'll give an example, okay? I use this analogy. Pakatan Harapan, when they took power, state power, what did they have to offer? Nothing. By use of an analogy, they entered into a fully furnished, top class, right, bungalow, 3-story bungalow, fully furnished. They were given the key, entered the house, and lived in contentment. At most, they make some changes in the garden, understand? Some new plants. Other than that, nothing. They didn't even make an extension of the house to make it bigger for the future generations. They were content to sit in the house on the armchair and gloat for power. Okay? Likewise, on May 9, 2018, they inherited, right, a palace. Penang was a bungalow. But in May 9, 2018, they inherited the National Palace. Fully furnished again. But what they do? They were so arrogant. They gloat that they were able and will be able to run the country far into the future. So they could afford, right, to stand up on themselves. Okay? And this was a blunder. And they made promises they couldn't keep. And they confessed. It's here. Our manifesto was made of impossible promises to deliver. Bear that in mind. Alright? Bear that in mind. So now, to all the leaders of PN government, under the leadership of Tan Sri Yassin, especially the 4 senior ministers helping him to rally people, right? You have done an incredible job. By God's will, by Allah's will, I'm telling you. Why? No leader in the world today was given this opportunity as was given to Tan Sri Yassin. On 1st of March, you were appointed and sworn before the Agong as a Prime Minister. On the 9th of March, within a week, you assembled your cabinet and they were sworn before the Agong. And then, on the 18th, less about 9 days, you declared MCO. No leader at the material time came to power like you did. And you were confronted, right, like no other leader in the world, with the unprecedented crisis of COVID-19 and the entire collapse of the economy. Not just Malaysia, whole world. Can you imagine? Any lesser man would have collapsed, gone gila, stressed out, and couldn't handle it. What shone out clearly to everyone in this country and to the whole world was the humility, integrity of our Prime Minister. You took the bulls by the horn. You dare, with the courage of the conviction, and you appeal to your Muslim brothers and sisters. Please, it's Allah's will that we must save lives of people first. We can pray in the mosque, in the church, in the temple. God wants us, and God wants him to preserve life. And even had the courage to say to his fellow Muslim brothers, please understand, you can pray to God anywhere. For your sake and for God's sake, we close down the mosque and all the other places of worship. He even dare say, please have humility, tolerance. Do not celebrate Raya. This was incredible invitation and challenge to the Muslim people, to the Malay people. Show to the world you are strong, you're resilient, and you can make sacrifices not only for your own community but for the whole country. Because by that gesture, by that great sacrifice, you will bring stability to our country, not only now, but in the future. Can you see the contrast? Compare and contrast. The squabbles, the filth, the propaganda, the ego by Pakatan Harapan. On one side, and the other side of humility, dedication, discipline, right? To do well for the people, the rakyat. So therefore, I appeal to the Prime Minister and all your cabinet ministers and all the leaders of PN. Do not make the same mistakes as Tun Mahathir, Anwar, Kit Siang of Pakatan Harapan. Because now people can compare. Pakatan Harapan, a bunch of scumbag liars and idiots, power-hungry maniacs. And your humble, quiet leadership. People first, rakyat first, and thereby forge in unity of steel. So, be very careful. God has given you a bounty on the platter. Just do what you're doing now. Do not overpromise. Do not exaggerate your achievement, as Pakatan Harapan did. Overpromise. The manifesto was rubbish. And then they knew it was a lie. They couldn't deliver. They just say, it's not cast in stone. It's not gospel truth like the Bible. You know who said? Kit Siang, Tun Mahathir, and even the former Attorney General. Publicly. So, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, our Prime Minister, please bear my words in mind. I don't speak it lightly. Right? It's not, you don't have to be a genius to realize. Shit was given to the whole country by Pakatan Harapan. The moment you took power as Prime Minister, we smell, we inhale the sniff of aroma of jasmine, of bunga raya. And we were so elated. Then, in the weeks that followed, we were overwhelmed and excited. Not just the whiff of aroma, right? But shower of bountiful flowers and aroma. All right? We were elated. You are now riding on the crest of success. But do not let that success cloud your judgment. Be steady. Do not squander what Allah has given you. Do not. Therefore, I'm asking you, all right? All the reports, World Bank, IMF, all the key global institutions says, right? The world is in big shit, big trouble, global collapse, and there could be a second round of COVID-19. And I have said repeatedly, when it first started in early March, I said we could have a U-shaped recovery. And with pockets of V-curve recovery by some sectors to pull the country to a U-shaped recovery. Then I said, after more research, right, having examined the depth of the COVID-19 fiasco, I said, we will have a W-shaped curve recovery. W-shape. We hit badly to the bottom by COVID-19. And by your timely rescue packages, we were on the upturn. But because of the concurrent global financial crisis, as well as COVID, with the threat of the second wave, which is only happening in America and elsewhere, no way can any country sustain a full recovery. So there will be a collapse. Okay? So you could have a W, and then if we maintain our momentum, we can rise up again. So it's a W. But do not overpromise. If you don't believe me, Mr. Prime Minister, go down to the ground and ask them. Treat your riot as adults, not children. Tell them the truth. We are in shit. We're in trouble, but we're not alone. The whole world is in trouble. The whole world. But we, the new government, blessed by Allah, will triumph, will persist. And our bonus for our faith in God Almighty is that we will be rewarded with a two-thirds majority for future security and prosperity. So, you were right. And IMF said, right, all our data is screwed up. Be innovative. Take time. No hurry. And you had correctly, postpone the budget, right, as well as the 12th Malaysia Plan. I can assure you that Pakatan Harapan, in his midterm review, did not assure any of us that the 11th Malaysia Plan will be completed. So for sure, for 22 months, they cock up. For sure, there'll be a lot of unfulfilled plans under the 11th Malaysia Plan. Okay? Money was wasted, leakages. So, Tan Sri Muhyiddin, bear that in mind. You only given, right, slightly over 2 years to complete the 11th Malaysia Plan. Even if there was no COVID-19, you could have because of the screwed up by Pakatan Harapan. So let's be assured, let's be real. In preparing for the 12th Malaysia Plan, you have to bear in mind and be truthful to the part riot that part of the 12th Malaysia Plan cannot but be a focus on completing the objective of the 11th Malaysia Plan. And then whatever money we've set aside, we will achieve some of the objectives earmarked for the 12th Malaysia Plan. That will be a realistic picture. Don't overpromise. We are not stupid, the riot. Tell the riot the truth. Alright? Be steady. Have faith. By God's will, we may be able to achieve more. But right now, be realistic. Right now, be realistic. Why? Because even our new finance minister has declared on May 2nd in the interview, he said, Malaysia is weathering its worst economic recession in its history. Now, if your finance minister tells you that it's the worst in history, don't expect. You're very mean and unrealistic to expect the government and the leadership of Tan Sri Muhyiddin to solve everything by December 2022. Not possible. Prepare for yourself. This is a war, okay? And then he says, the recession not only affected the national gross domestic product, but also contributed towards a rise in unemployment. These are very big issues. You think you can create jobs overnight? You cannot. Shattered. Not in us. There are 40 over million unemployed in America and still growing. Same in Europe. UK says it's the worst economic crisis in 300 years. Okay? And then he says the economic recession has impacted the nation's income, with the country hemorrhaging 2.4 billion daily. Take a calculation now. Take a calculation. From March 18 to now, every day, we are bleeding 2.4 billion a day. Alright? Bleeding. But Tun Mahathir, a doctor, one is a doctor, right? Could be bothered. Did he say he will put a tourniquet to stop the bleeding and give blood transfusion to save the patient? No! Power, power, power. But Tan Sri Muhyiddin, not even a doctor, finance minister, has no medical background. Use common sense. We are bleeding. Don't expect us to revive the patient overnight to run the 100 meters dash. We have to stabilize the patient. Okay? Blood transfusion. And slowly, slowly, with tender loving care, bring the patient out of ICU to general ward and thereafter back to his home. Can you see that? We are now recuperating under ICU. A patient survived in ICU. He could have died in ICU without blood transfusion and all the other, methods and protocol to save the patient. Be happy. We are safe. We are alive. Although we're still in ICU, recuperating. Soon we'll be in the general ward. And soon we will be home with our family. Our national economy. Bear that in mind. And then the Finance Minister says, the GDP is expected to decline between 3 and 4%. That's very optimistic. Never mind. It could be more. We're not God. And the oil prices, will create the nation's fiscal deficit, which has increased from 4.7% to 5%. Deficit is not something we should be scared of. The government did not cause a deficit. COVID-19 and the lockdown. If I may use an analogy, don't be too worried. Guaning will say, more deficit, useless government. No. Deficit is like an overdraft. Ask any businessman around you. Alright? Why do you need an overdraft? For operating expenses. To solve, current cash flow. Nothing wrong with myself. Unless you over borrowed. Okay? So, this is the current situation. So, to the government and the Prime Minister, please, please, please do not overpromise like it's a manifesto of impossible promises. Do not fall the trap. Try to show that you are fantastic. You're already fantastic by saving the life of the nation. Don't exaggerate your accomplishment. There's no need there. People are not stupid. People see you have sacrificed. You did not give up when you suffered from pancreas cancer. You have been cured. And Allah has cured your cancer completely. And you will be protected by COVID-19. For sure, I'm telling you, Mr. Prime Minister, for sure. Let those bastards, alright, rumor monger that you're dying, all kind of rubbish, right? These are mean, evil bastards. But have faith in Allah. You will triumph. Because now, there's no need for you to posture, to over-exaggerate your accomplishment. Be humble. Because the people will, every day from today, will compare your government with the lies of Pakatan Harapan, with the failed leadership of Pakatan Harapan, okay, with the deviousness of Pakatan Harapan, with the sinister politics of Pakatan Harapan. That is enough. That's enough. If at all you want to make a promise, you will say, next budget is meant to bring us back to equilibrium. We are minus. It's a huge achievement to bring it back to zero first before we enter into the positive territory. If you mistakenly promise fantastic growth in the future by 2021, you fail, you pay the price of failure. There's no need to do that. There's no need for snap election. Don't you believe anybody who says your government, although with a small majority, is insecure? You cannot govern. Bullshit! With a small majority, you have governed better than 2 years of Pakatan Harapan with a bigger majority. Can you see that? It's not the numbers that matter. As a strategist, okay, it's how you fight. It's how you fight. That's why in war, we have special forces. Before the actual war starts, go into enemy territory, create havoc in their lines, behind their lines, and then create a condition for onslaught in the future. Right now, you have an incredible, all right, a company of special forces, okay, destroying our enemies and laying the groundwork for the future onslaught. And we have succeeded. We have succeeded remarkably well, beyond expectation. That is why Tun Mahathir cannot accept it. He's so afraid, so insecure that you could surpass his achievement. You see? He had 22 years, that legacy. He's done good things. I concede readily. But he only worried about, although he denied, he's worried about the legacy. I can tell you, when a person denies stridently, he's not worried about his legacy. He's more worried than anybody else. He can't stand anybody doing well other than himself. Okay. And you know why you want to be a third Prime Minister? You'll be a Guinness Book of Records. He only care about that. He's hard up. And he knows for sure no other leader in the future can be Prime Minister 3 times. He's the only one. Tun Mahathir Mohamad. See, it's all self. If he dies, he can't be bothered for the future of the country. He never ever prepared that the country will have a future Prime Minister to lead us forward. He always left everybody hanging in the air. Look through all the past deputy Prime Ministers that he chosen. Either he destroyed them or he failed them. Okay. Only he shines, no one else. So let me say to you, once again, we have a very stable government. Okay? Stable government, very stable. No other government could have succeeded the way Tan Sri Modi has succeeded. On the first day of his office, the first few weeks, can you imagine? You're thrown at the deep end of the swimming pool and you floated and you survive. Double whammy. The whole world has not suffered such an unprecedented crisis. The whole world. And Tan Sri Modi was very calm, very relaxed, very focused. And he spoke to the whole country I'm not interested in politics, in politicking. I will focus on the people. That was most reassuring. The quiet humility and strength. He didn't bark, he didn't shout, he didn't bang like Anwar and Tun Mahathir, doing all kinds of wayang kulit. To the day, another wayang kulit. You follow me? This is so disgusting. And he kept using the word betrayal. He would not work with traitors. Alright? He betrayed Pakatan Harapan in his own way. Alright? He never wanted Anwar to be the Prime Minister. After he retired and couldn't get a job as Prime Minister again, then he spilled out his real feelings. Catch him, we caught him already. He said, I'm hard up to be, alright? A ninth Prime Minister. He wants it, even for 6 months. Because Anwar rejected him, he played wayang kulit. Shafiq Abdal. Alright? Because he knows Sabah and Sarawak will never support Pakatan Harapan. So give a little, bit of crumbs to Sabahan. Hey, your leader will be the Prime Minister. Never will happen. Mahathir will never let it happen. Okay? Guarantee you. So that belies what he said earlier. 6 months I'll be Prime Minister and I hand over to Anwar. But now he says, before even he became Prime Minister, Shafiq Abdal will be the Prime Minister. Can you see now? He's now. He's confused. And he's playing all of you like a fool. All of you. Even those in UMNO and PAS. Okay? And other leaders in the PN government. Because you'll be infected by the Tun Mahathir Anwar virus. Hopefully, you don't need any vaccine for this particular virus. All you need is clarity of mind and go down to the ground. Understand? Talk to the ordinary people. Talk to the ordinary people. Not the tycoons, the multimillionaires. They are lobbyists. They only care for their own interests, their own survival. I can assure you, Mr. Prime Minister, the country will recover if you address, first and foremost, riot. And riot. And riot. Do two things. First riot, second riot, third riot. Not the filthy rich. They mislead you with their expensive reports, analysis, but always for themselves. Beware of those accountants, right? High power analysis with fantastic reports and data. Bullshit, I'm telling you. Right? Because of the situation as admitted by IMF, the data are not reliable. So how can you come up with any report by these assholes? Think tanks. Right? Any data that comes up in March concerning, March situation or February is rubbish. Alright? We're now in June. Not even half a year yet. You think you can get accurate data? I'll give you an example. Okay? I'll give you an example before I conclude. Export went up. For example, a country or Malaysia says, our export went up. Alright? Say for example, palm oil or rubber or electronics went up. You beat the chest. Wow, we are very good. We survive. Bullshit. Because if you look at those figures in itself, it's meaningless. Assuming now, by analogy, you export palm oil. You say, went up. Okay? I don't base on whatever figures you are. But assuming now, in the past, you exported, okay, say for example, 10 million metric tons to a country A. You must, in order to ensure your figure is correct, obtain the figure from the importing country. How much oil palm they imported? If the import and export jive, then the export figure is correct. If you say I export 10 million metric tons of palm oil to country B, and country B says we only imported 5 million tons, it's a lie, isn't it? It's a shortfall, am I right? Likewise, domestically, a manufacturer, the industry says we have produced, for example, X million of cars, whatever product. Is that growth? No, if the statistics for purchases by the consumer is like less, you cannot have growth. You may produce, but if that's not sold, right? It's not growth. They're going to suffer. All right, just as a farmer growing vegetables, right? Then MCO came. They can't sell the vegetables. He may have grown, for example, right, X thousand kgs, right, of bok choy. If it's not consumed, that is irrelevant. You can't take the figure as part of the growth. It's rotting in the farmland. You understand what I say that to you now? Be very careful. Therefore, I would urge whoever is in charge of preparing the budget and the 12 Malaysia plan, you cannot see the 12 Malaysia plan and the budget for next year in isolation. You have to address first and foremost the problems you're going to inherit from the failure, stupidity, right, mismanagement of the British government while they're in power on the 11th Malaysia plan. If they're going to be achieved, you can't just think of 12 Malaysia plan independent of the Malaysia plan. It's a continuous process. And therefore, your budget for 2021 must also address the same issue. I guarantee you, you cannot just sweep away the failures of the Pakatan Harapan government in achieving the objectives of the 11th Malaysia plan and their budget. All right? It's all talk. So, in conclusion, I appeal to you, to our leaders in government, be realistic. Because people are not expecting miracles as yet. But they're faith in Allah. Just do the right thing. Don't overpromise, don't exaggerate, be humble. And solve our problems step at a time, step by step. And you will roam home even before 2023, if you have an election. You get 2/3. So, I'm going to ask all of you, right? Those in Pakatan, in Parti Bersatu with Muhyiddin, in UMNO, in PAS, MCA, whatever. Did you even think of that objective? 2/3 majority? I said because you have not. Have you even thought it's about time we reclaim back Penang from DAP? 10 years from 2008 to now, 10 years almost there. What have they done? Nothing. And I hope the senior minister, Azmin, you let PKR win Selangor. PKR has betrayed Selangor. All kind of rubbish. Take back Selangor and bring back to your new coalition. This is one of the greatest achievement by you, Minister Azmin. And for MCA, please, don't forget history. The first chief minister, right, was Wong Pao Ni. Second was Chong Yu of Barilan National. Don't you have the pride, right, to restore back the shine to Penang? Restore back the shine in Penang. It's rusting now under the DAP leadership. I think it's not far-fetched. Finally Allah has given you the destiny on a silver platter. Do this. That's Muhyiddin. Do this, Azmin. Do this, Ismail Sabri. Right? Do this, Mustafa Muhammad. God has spoken, Allah has spoken, Allah has given direction. Don't you squander. Don't you betray that trust repose in you. Because if you do, I'll declare war. But I believe you will take to heart my words. Because I got this from a meditative insight. You may not believe meditation or insights. Then go to the ground, do your analysis, and talk to the people. Okay? With that, I remind you again. Surrender absolutely to the will of Allah. Have absolute faith that He will defend, protect us, and guide us, right, now and future. As He's guided us and protected us, right, since the appointment of Tan Sri Muhyiddin as Prime Minister. With that, I thank you for your attention. I bid you a good day and a good week.